Quite the intro there. I don't think that worked. I must be lagging. How are we doing? Welcome in episode number 50. Let me play the intro.
United Spurs of America, with your hosts, Michael and Jacob.
Hello, that is better. How are we doing? Welcome in. There you go. Happy Wednesday. Middle of the week. Can't get things right. Episode is a lot earlier than usual, but how are we doing? Good morning from El Paso, Texas. It's just past 11 a.m. here while I'm doing this right now on Wednesday, September the 13th. Hope you're doing well. Episode number 50. Not going to see a lot of our regulars here. Not even Chewy's here. Chewy's not even here. He couldn't even be bothered to show up. So it's got some things that life needs to attend to, so cannot do the stream later. Had to do an early one today. So shout out to those of you who are here in the house already or watching this on playback. Hope you were doing well. Hope you were keeping well. You know the vibes. Too blessed to be stressed. Want to say shout out to Richarlison. Came out with some really touching quotes lately, and I want to go over those, and I want to go over the fact that we've got the official roster has been set. So got a few things most definitely to talk about on this fine Wednesday. But how are we doing? Welcome in. That felt weird, huh? That intro? That felt a little weird to me, not gonna lie. But let's see who gets the first place prize today. I'm trying to move on. It's stuck in my head right now what happened there. So that was kind of funny. Adrian Shroka, good afternoon all. You get the first place prize today, Adrian Shroka. How you doing? Big up. Hope you're doing well. Congratulations. I think this is your first place prize, sir. And we got non-alcoholic beer talk. Any idea why those two are still around? To me, if Lloris can keep a good attitude, he can help the youngsters. We'll talk about it. We'll get into it. But no clue. I did want to go ahead and knock out the Richarlison stuff first. It looks like the chat is leaning towards the squad. Maybe we should talk about the squad first, and then I'll talk about Richarlison and the show off. Kuva99's in the house. Big up, Kuva. How are you doing? Says, I'm not even first. What kind of a fan of the channel am I? Hold me, Jacob. I see Dyer in the squad. He's officially in the squad. It is officially official, our squad. Let's pivot. I'm going to go live and pivot the plan of the show because of Kuva, because of Beer Talk, because of Jazz Fusion as well. Y'all here, early call time. I didn't even announce it or say yesterday that today was going to be earlier than usual, but here we are. Big up Jazz Fusion. Good morning. Well, I guess for you, Jazz Fusion, I always forget where you're at. I think you might have said Florida or the UK. I don't really remember. You're always here, so I feel like you might be in an American time, but how you doing? Jazz Fusion says they're around because Levy will always refuse to admit contractual defeat, holding out to get, quote, something for them on the way out the door. I wonder what it is. I wonder what it is that keeps these players around. Let's get into it. I'll go ahead and share my screen here. Big shout out to the 20 of y'all that are tapping in. I know this is an earlier stream than usual, but y'all still here. Partake in that poll. Forgot to mention, there is a poll. You always know that there's a poll here. 23 votes. How do you feel about the final roster? 48% says, I figured this would be the case. I mean, that's kind of where I'm at. I figured this would be the case. Figured that much anyway. I hoped otherwise. 30% says disappointed to see Dyer and Lloris. 17% says not even Dyer can stop the Ainge train. So there we go. We got a little bit of positive juice flowing in the poll today. 17% of 24 says not even Dyer can stop the Ainge train. I like that. 4% says had hope, but Spurs will be Spurs. Try to give all representation there. Let me know if I left out whatever option you wanted to have up. But big up Jazz Fusion. Big up Chris Agambar in the house. Big up Lisa as well. Says big up Jacob. Like the stream all. Grab your free beer on the way in. Do as Lisa says. Hit that like. If you're watching this live or on playback, hit that like. I would encourage you to do so. Or hit the dislike. Let us know how you're feeling. It's all good in the hood, man. No worries here. Rich, first YouTube chat member checking in. Big up, sir. Big up, Rich. How you doing? Hope you're keeping well, my friend. Happy Wednesday. JJ, big up, says, hey, Jacob, this club. And this club. Is that the Antonio Conte voice? It is earlier in the morning, so it's maybe quite a different show than what you're used to around here. I don't know. But it is still early in the morning for me. It ain't even noon. I ain't even had lunch yet. Is anyone productive before lunch at work? Anyone at work? Are you productive before noon? Because I'm not. I'll be honest. I'm pretty much not productive. I try to stay productive, but until I've had lunch, I really can't be productive. I don't know. Cursor says, like secured. Big up, Jacob. Big up, Cursor. Hope you're doing well. Gina Kim's in the house. Good morning, Jacob. Good morning, Gina. And all the West Coast riders right now, it is early in the morning for you, so big up. How are we doing? Good morning. Hope you've got a caffeinated beverage. I do. Interesting day already so far, and I've only been awake for 3 hours. Jazz Fusion, indeed, Florida. I knew it. I called it. I knew it, and I called it. Let me know where y'all are tapping in from. I try to remember these things. I don't know. I'm a big people person. Like, I enjoy finding out where people are from and trying to remember that. So, like, if I ever see them again, I can say, oh, you're Jimmy John from down the way. So glad I can remember. I don't know why. Something said Florida, and I was right. Paul Brown. Quote, there was a phenomenal outpouring of support for Delhi after the fact. Now such is happening in front of us. The narrative is disgusting, belittling one of your own, publicly head wobbling, to be honest. What quote is that from? I don't know. What quote is that? I do want to talk about the Richarlison stuff because I think it's pretty inspirational. He's came out and he's been very honest. He's been very open and honest with the whole world, and I can respect that tremendously. I've always said I hope he turns a good performance. I just ain't seen it, and I'm losing hope. But at least he's addressing the fact that there is an issue, because there's 100% an issue. Oh my goodness, what a good little treat we have. What a good little treat we have. I already have one guest lined up. I do have a guest that will be joining us a little bit later. Big up Chelsea Blue and Blue. Smash the likes. Big up Kate, just a girl who loves Spurs. Kate should be joining us shortly after she's settling in. She might be joining us here in a little bit. But got another little special surprise, a little morning delight, so to speak. Stu 1882. Dyer refused to move. Levy can't do anything about that. Did we get any offers? Do we know for a fact? Did we get any offers? Big up JJ. What's work? Man, you telling me. My work is my son, my wife, and my home, and then myself. After all that, that's what my work is. I can't say I'm working a day in my life, but honestly, I am. I know people love that phrase, right? Oh, you love what you do. You ain't working a day in your life. But I'll tell you right now, having a wife, a pregnant wife and a kid. Any fathers out there know exactly what I'm talking about. Now imagine being around all the time, and it's your job to do it. So it's tough, man. It's tough out here for all the fathers. Cal. Howdy do. Hope you and the chat are good, pal. I'm doing well, sir. Too blessed to be stressed. My energy's picking up. You know, I'm seeing all the people checking in. We got about 40 of y'all in the house, 33 votes. So, you know, things are moving smooth because honestly, doing a show at a different time than usual can throw people off. People might be coming around the mountain about 4 hours to the channel. So if you are watching this on playback, sorry about the confusion. Life, y'all know what it is. Life sometimes gets in the way. Big up Barry Shuttleworth says, hi, Jacob. Hello. Lancashire, England. Big up, Barry, all the way in England. Good evening. Hope you've had some good dinner. What time does England eat dinner? It's about 6 o'clock over there for y'all, so I imagine everybody's eating dinner right around now. Woodsy TV in the house. Big up Woodsy TV, another YouTube chat member. Rich says, I'm terrible in the morning. Need at least 3 coffees to start speaking. This was the thing, Rich. When I lived in Dallas, Fort Worth, the commute to work was like 45 minutes on a good day, anywhere to an hour. And I would have this giant canteen, and I'd fill it up with coffee. And I would drink about 3/4 of it before I would get to work, and then I was still go get a coffee while I'm at work in the break room, because honestly, who can offer it? I hate those like Pinterest quotes, but they're honest and direct. Don't talk to me before coffee. That's how I feel. Hey Jacob, currently at work, my guy. Big up Right Heart Lane. Keep grinding the day away, my friend. Glad you can be here tuning in. Hopefully distract you from your work, but not too distracting, just enough distracting. Simon Brown in the house. Morning, 2:30 a.m. From South Australia. Big up Simon. Big up. Good morning. Early morning. Wonder what the kangaroos are doing right now. It's 2:30 a.m. in Australia. Do you think the kangaroos are jumping around, or you think they're sleeping? I would imagine they're sleeping, but what do I know? I've never been. David Gray. Big up Jacob. Wouldn't it be great if we nicked the title from City this season by a point or a goal difference? Love the show. Big up, David. Glad that you're here. If we nick the title from anybody by any amount, I don't know what I might do. I really have no idea what I would do, because that'd be so unexpected. But big up, David Gray. Glad that you were here. Speaking of glad that you were here, I see this man. It's morning time for me, so it's just like, he looks what I would imagine the smell of coffee in the morning would look like. So let me go ahead and bring him in. I've got Kuva in the house. Big up Kuva.
The smell of coffee in the morning. Yeah, I'll say that. I'll say that.
You know, when you smell coffee, like with the sight of that is what I attest to you. How are you doing, man? Good morning.
Is that ground or unground?
Definitely ground up. That's what creates the aroma.
Okay, yeah, that's true. It's true. Okay. Yeah, doing well here. Except for the usual concerns on, those squad numbers and those conversations that have stretched back to past last season, and how much of an influence some of these players have on these squad members. Talking particularly Dyer and Lloris. I think most people were hoping they were on their way out, but I think Jazz Fusion absolutely nailed it. I think they're here purely because we couldn't get the required sum of money out of people for them, or they just didn't want to go. I feel they're here for a free meal ticket this season. Don't see them adding any value to the team. Dyer certainly seems to be frozen out. He's not even making... Well, Hugo as well, you can say. Well, how many goalkeepers do we have now in this squad? 5?
5 goalkeepers.
It's unreal. I mean, I know you're goalkeepers union, but I mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, can I get the invite is kind of where I'm at with it. If I'm part of the union, you inviting the whole union to play for Tottenham Hotspur. Come on now. Send me the invite.
That's it.
We're going to get into it, and then I also want to talk about the Richarlison bit of business, but I also do have a very special guest. We have Kate, just a girl who loves Spurs, joining the show once again. Hello, Kate. How are you doing? Good morning from El Paso, Texas.
Good evening from Lincoln, UK. Yeah, I'm doing good. Hello,
Is it Lincolnshire or Lincolnshire?
Lincolnshire. We don't live in Lord of the Rings land. It is definitely Lincolnshire, not Lincolnshire.
Actually, I do. I'm in Dorset, and it's very much like that in parts of Dorset.
You look too big to be a hobbit, though, Kuva.
I don't know why everybody thinks I'm this huge person. I'm like 5'7".
Oh, you're shorter than me.
Oh, you're short. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, you could be a hobbit for sure. But even if you were 6'7",
strong build, and then got well, let's face it, porky.
Okay.
Well, maybe it's the camera's close to you, so people think you're like it's the angle. You know how they do in movies when they go low, and that's how they make a figure seem very big and domineering. Your camera's a little low, you're up close to it, so one would say it's almost like you're talking to him from up here. So I could see why people would say that, but you can be whatever. I've
shattered all of Kate's illusions now, hasn't it?
You have. I'm devastated.
There we go.
We've got this has been when people say good morning, I'm like, oh yeah, good morning. But like, this is actually a good morning. I don't ever stream this early, but I've got another guest who's going to be joining me shortly. And he looks all right. You're good? Yeah, he's good. I'm going to bring him on. Sean from Spurs Talk Show. How you doing, buddy?
So, I'm sorry, guys. I've got to go. What's that? JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs. Put the deal on ice. I've got to go on to United Spurs of America. No, the deal can wait. The deal can wait. That's okay. Yeah, screw you too.
It's JP Morgan. You're on with the one and only. How you doing, sir?
Some people get priorities in life, Jacob, and you are one of them, my man. How are you, buddy?
If I didn't feel blessed, I do now. Good morning, Sean from El Paso, Texas.
That wasn't the JP Morgan bank. That was just a guy who lived down the street called John Patrick Morgan who wanted to have bunty on a Thursday night. That's all. He was just saying.
I've got 12 crates of beer coming through. Put the deal on hold.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Shut up, Jay. Shut up, JP. Bugsy will come home when she's ready. How are you guys? What's going on?
It's kind of the same thing as, the butler's arriving in a minute. Like, right. Oh, sure.
Yeah. Just that butler. Yeah, that one.
Well, the official rosters came out. I was going to talk about Richarlison off the jump, but then, Kate jumping, Kuva jumping.
No.
Are we going to talk about Richarlison first? I was going to originally... Yeah, let's get that out of the way, because in the roster we can have more fun poking at people, because Richarlison has become the subject matter of a lot of, let's say, criticisms lately, myself included. His performances have not been good in a Tottenham Hotspur shirt, and I think if anyone's watched the Brazil matches, he hasn't been doing too well. He had 2 offside goals last night, I think it was. So
is that in 2023? I think he scored 1 that was onside and scored 7 that was offside.
That ratio is absolutely
trial.
Someone give that guy a ruler. Let him learn what a line is. Gee whiz.
It does not make sense to me. Big up Wayne Bonner, YouTube chat member in the house. Guys, for me, the Richarlison thing, I'm doing this so I can shift. So I shift y'all up when I pull this. That way I don't cover your face. You see how I did that? That's production value right there. Big up Stu and Kent England. Richarlison. So I obviously, of course, the tweet I have pulled up in front of me was now the roster, because I pivoted because the chat was talking about the roster. But there were some things that came out with Richarlison. He says, on the field, I'm a happy player. I try to help as much as I can, but sometimes things don't go to the way we want. There's another quote going on that when I get back to England, I'm going to seek psychological help from a psychologist to work on my mind. That's it. Come back stronger. I believe I will be in the next squad. I will work for that. It's about getting a good streak at Tottenham. This week is I'm going to sit down and talk to them. I need a good streak, get the rhythm of the game, and get here well. So when you hear this, there's bits and pieces that were subtracted out of this. So when I wake up and I'm starting to see all these quotes, I see I'm going to seek help. I'm going to talk to a psychiatrist and seek psychological help for where I'm at mentally. And to me, I'm like, great, this all sounds good. I'm proud of you and I'm happy for you. And then you see the full quotes and you start seeing he's going to do that while also trying to be in the squad. And to me, there comes a time and a point where it's like you can only drive one car at a time, my friend. And maybe he's getting a little overzealous. So, Kate, I want to start with you ladies first, so I want to be gracious. Richarlison, he's going to seek help. First off, where do you see that benefiting Spurs and him as a human? And then secondly, do you think he maybe should focus on one before he focuses on the other?
I think it's so sad that he feels that he needs to get psychological help, first of all. I've just seen what Chris Agenbar's put. It's amazing how many players need psychological help after they join Spurs. It is really sad.
I'm way behind in the chat.
There's definitely something not right with him. It stands out a mile. I'm not sure if there's anything going on in his private life.
Apparently, there were some people close to him who were only close to him for the money. He also came out saying that. He said that he's cut those people out of his life, so he's trying to better himself. He's a 26-year-old man. When I was 26, you don't want to know what I was doing. So I see it a little bit as like he's having a growing moment.
A little slice of what you were into, just a little bit.
My 26th birthday, I was asleep the entire time on my couch.
So he was a lightweight.
That wasn't really what. Yeah,
I guess that's more of a crust than a slice.
I thought you were going to be like, but that's only because the night before my 26th birthday, I was out with 17 girls and we were doing the la 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 la. Whatever.
No, that was my earlier 20s. The later 20s, I had my back was hurting all my 26th birthday for some reason. I don't know what it was. I had a really bad backache on my entire birthday, and I was really sick, and I was like not feeling good, so I just laid on my couch all day. So it was not as fun and glamorous as it should have been. But what my mind process here is, at that time in my life, I needed therapy as well. I needed to see somebody that wasn't a friend, that wasn't family. And I think this like, hey, I see you know, you a little bit looks like you're turning your nose up to the therapy. Seeking therapy doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. It means that, look, mental health is just like a muscle. Your brain is a muscle. You have to see help and work out the things that hold you back mentally, just as much as someone who goes to the gym needs to do a curl to get a big bicep. It's the same.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I've suffered mental health all my life. I've seen counsellors and all sorts. So I don't turn my nose up at that. I just think anyone with money, anyone will have people around them that are around them for their money. Do you know what I mean? For sure.
Richie, I'll be your best friend right now. Just
I've
pay
seen
for my.
Listen, I don't want my best friend if you're going to spend my birthday asleep on the couch, bro.
That's my birthday. I'm willing to sacrifice my birthday.
Okay. Yeah, well, if your birthday, I want to party too, bro. That's 2 days in the year we can go out.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. We'll blow it big. You got the money. Let's do it. No, I was heavily overworked at 26 is what it was. I was working way too many hours for the Dallas Cowboys, the bastards. I gave them my soul and my life. I gave them my youth. But sorry, Kate, go ahead.
No, I was going to say I've seen it firsthand, that you get hangers on. And it just, what I find more concerning is there aren't people around these players to advise them of this. Surely this is what the agents and that should be doing. But you know, he's away from his family. They're back in Brazil. I think if he needs the help, then great, go get it. But I don't think he should be anywhere near the team while he does it. I think he needs to take a break, because if he carries on playing and it doesn't go his way, fans get on his back, which, you know, it's inevitable. It's going to happen. It's only going to make things worse. So I don't think he should be thinking about it.
I just want to elaborate on your thought there. So let's say he is seeking help, and 6 months down the line, fans are getting on his back again because he's playing like shit, like he is now. Like we all got on his back after 3 matches in the Premier League, 3 consecutive starts in the Premier League, and nothing, zero, zilch from him. So it's absolutely fair to be hard on him, but could that be a good thing now that he's going to be seeking help, so he has a better foundation emotionally, mentally going forward, looking, you know, and dealing with the criticism and some of the fan, because I mean, let's remember, the man who won't be named on this stream tweeted at Richarlison defending him. It was like Richarlison quote tweeted him and replied, and everything was like he was waiting for someone to defend him on Twitter, and you know, Schmob Spurs happened to be the guy, and so it's just interesting. Like, he obviously is paying heavily attention to what's happening online and what's circling around his name specifically. So if he was better equipped to deal with the things that he might see, or maybe they could get him to a mindset of where he doesn't even pay attention to that. That's my hope. Therapy is very great for a lot of people. Also, I want to read this comment here from the Americanca because it's a good point as well. It says most people go to the therapist concurrently while they work a day different. So, but he still shouldn't start.
They are, because they're in the public eye, so they're completely different, really. But my point is, if he goes to therapy, comes back, plays crap and gets loads of stick and still can't deal with it, then he needs to change his career. Because every player, every actress, every actor in the public eye opens himself up to that criticism, I'm afraid. That's just part and parcel. That's why you earn the big money. But good luck to him. I hope it works. But I think he needs to get a thicker skin, maybe, if the therapy doesn't work. I don't mean to sound harsh, because I know
a thicker skin. I think if you're that at that stage of your career and you're still emotionally volatile at this, how long has he been doing it now? I think that some people are just predispositioned to have, you know, the opinions of others to affect them, you know. But I'm not sure that's what the case is here. Like, for what it's worth, I agree with you 100%, Kate. I just did a video on this a minute ago, and I spent the first like 2 minutes kind of caveat going. I'm basically thinking I don't want to be cancelled by woke, because I'm gonna come at this from an angle of like I feel sympathy and empathy, but like, what's more important as a Tottenham fan here? The best interest of Tottenham or the best interest of the individual? Two can't be the same if the individual is asking for a process that he believes the solution to his issues requires not just psychological help, but more minutes in the team. At whose expense does that come at, right? It's the same as saying like a youth team player needs to figure it out at Tottenham. Well, there's another option. In the case of youth team is you figure it out on someone else's dime. In the case of Richarlison, if you're seeking psychological help, then you recognize that there's something deeper set. And whether or not it really is the fact that someone's got their hand out or people have got their hand out around you, or whether it's something else, allow that process to figure itself out. Allow an expert to be the determinant of what is the deep-seated root of your issues, if possible, rather than just assuming that that's it. I'll speak to someone about that, but at the same time, give me the minutes, because that's the way I'm going to get back to my best. And to me, as much as I want the best for him, that is not the best interest of Tottenham Hotspur right now. You know, it really isn't. Like who? So what are we saying? If we agree with
I don't think we need to keep starting him, Sean, while he tries to figure and sort himself out. Now, I don't mind having him on the bench still while he does this, because I agree with Americanka. But I also see what you're saying too, Kate, in the sense of like, he is a little different. He's in the public eye. He's a freaking millionaire. And I did say, quote, verbatim on another stream earlier this week, dry your tears with the $100 bills, my friend. You'll be okay.
And that's also something that's reasonable to a degree, but obviously doesn't help the individual, right? Because
it's actually very
they grow that like they're still the same person in their mind, but before and after they've made the money. But to me, I don't necessarily. Correct. I love Americanka to pieces. She's awesome, but I don't necessarily agree that in the private sector, the solution to handling pressures on the person is to continue to offer them the same responsibilities that they had. Like in the world that I've worked in finance, in marketing, etc. I've worked for big companies and small loads of companies, and I've seen that if people are dealing with addiction, if people are dealing with bereavement, if people are dealing with divorce, all those sorts of things, if it's ultimately affecting your ability to do your job, then a sympathetic company or a sympathetic boss will offer you the help that's available in terms of speaking to a professional if that's something that they offer. But it certainly wouldn't be to provide them with more responsibility. It would be to say, let me take your short-term responsibilities away from you so that you can focus on getting better. Right? Let me give you a time off. Take 2 weeks or go on sabbatical, figure yourself out, and hopefully come back, and then we can get you back to being your best, and everyone can, be the benefit of it. It's certainly not going to be some like a salesperson who's not doing their best, and they go, you know what the solution is here? We're going to provide you with a psychiatrist, and also I'm going to give you the top 20 accounts for you to go and smash right now, because you, in your very vulnerable state, what I need to see you to do is to go and talk to the best accounts that we have, and
sounds like the plot of a movie
that you don't screw up.
I'll do it.
That's not how it works. Right. That's not how it works. You say, I'm going to take your best accounts off you, and I'm going to give them to other people that are hilarious right now, and maybe we'll give them back to you in the future. Like, you got to put the best interests of the football club, or in the case of private sector, the business first, always. Right?
Yeah. I wonder if perceptions change of this due to, just because of the cultural differences as well. It's like we always perceive in this country that America, we watch the TV and movies and TV series, and anybody with any amount of money always has a therapist. They'll talk about it like, oh yeah, I spent this morning on the couch, stuff like that. Is that the sort of always considered? It's not a big deal. Everybody does it over there, but here it's more of a taboo thing. It's like you don't.
Yeah, there's definitely a different culture. I lived in America. My best mate in America, Coop, he was like, I was like, what are you doing on Friday night? Can we go out boozing? He's like, sorry, I can't. I got to see my therapist. I was like, what do you mean therapist? There's nothing wrong with you. He was like, I know there's not, but I like to talk about what's happening in my life, and it makes me feel better. In the UK, if you have a therapist, there's something wrong with you. In America, it's a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength. You know what I mean? There's a different kind of therapy.
And it wasn't always like that in America, though. It wasn't always like that. I remember when I was younger in the 90s, back when language was more colorful, that was viewed as like, yes, something is wrong with you, or like, it was a joke, like, oh, your uncle touched you, that's why you got to go talk to somebody, and it was like very insensitive. And honestly, I like the turn in the culture in America, that and whatever people want to label it, they want to label it. But I'm a major advocate. My wife is a fucking music therapist. I'm a major advocate for people seeking professional help from someone who can look at a situation, i.e., your life or a particular instance in your life, and help give you a fresh perspective on it. I advocate for people. I mean, that's something I even say to my trolls who email me all the type of hate speech. I just say, bro, seek help, because literally you need help. And I don't mean that as a diss. I mean that as like, you should seek somebody to give you an opinion on your status of where you're mentally at, because like you said, Sean, if you're mentally not in the best place, you shouldn't be working more. And that's kind of like why my 26th birthday was shit, because I was not in a mentally good place, kept working more responsibilities, more trips, more traveling with the team, and it was just like everything fell
I
out
feel
of.
like you need a 26th birthday second time over. I feel like this is a
You're
thing
right. I do miss out on my 20.
Should we organize like a, like in Australia they have Christmas in July, like like it's like Christmas, but it's not Christmas because it's better chance of snow and stuff. Maybe we should have Jacob's 26th birthday part 2.
Hey, November 1st, I'm definitely down. Instead of celebrating my 33rd birthday, celebrating my 26th. I'm definitely
to be fair, my 26th, I spent the entire day sleeping on the couch as well. At least
really?
That's what it said in the police report.
Oh, there I was thinking you were like, yeah, I wasn't feeling good either. I was overworked. I just didn't, at that time in my life, I didn't have like a great work to life balance. And again, that's something like maybe Richarlison, he even spoke about this when he was at Everton and they were facing relegation. He was playing in the Olympics and playing in the World Cup and like playing all this time that he didn't really have time to focus on himself and his mental place. And like, so I candidly, I kind of sympathize with that, because I was definitely in a place when I was 26 where, granted, I wasn't making millions of dollars traveling the globe. I was traveling this hemisphere, sure, but it was you as a young man, you have to find how to balance that, right? Like when you look at Neymar, maybe he balances it too much leaning the other way, whereas maybe he should have, if he did balance the football more, it would have been different. Whereas Richarlison seemed like he just kept cramming and didn't really have a second for himself. And so maybe this is the product of years of mismanagement from his self, and a therapist would be the person to help unlock and unravel that and help mend that. And again, I understand the cultural difference, that like how it's viewed differently. So, and I think it's a generational thing as well. Like maybe the younger people in UK don't view seeking therapy as like this, taboo thing. And honestly, it shouldn't be. No one should be looked down upon because they spoke to, because there's people who go years and years of school and study to do this. Just think about like what in your trade perfectly well, that you could coach a lot of people about, and you could be a leader in this field. Like there's so many people in that respect, but just for fucking mental health, how to feel okay when you pour your morning coffee. You know what I mean? And I think that's very beneficial for people who are open to that kind of thing. And again, you have to be open to it, because you can't, it's the whole saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. Like I've been to therapists when I wasn't ready to see a therapist, and it was like not beneficial at all. It was more frankly a waste of time. And so I'm hoping, my hope here again is that Richarlison sees somebody that helps him clear these cobwebs, this jam up that he's having mentally.
All that stuff starts before you get minutes on the pitch, right? You can't.
But as a substitute,
you can't have the lunatics running the asylum. To use a terrible turn of phrase, I don't mean like that because you're seeking help, but I mean you can't have someone who is admitting that he's going through a psychological struggle. You can't then also, his solution, this is what I believe is the best thing. I'm going to seek help, plus also I need minutes. Sorry, the two can't be happening at the same time. They're not what's the word, symbiotic or whatever. You can't, he has to fix one before you give him the other. Like surely you can't.
Even outside of the therapy, I would say Sonny starts down the middle, Richie. Maybe you have a shout for left wing, maybe, but I don't know. I would still rather look at Solomon or Perisic than that. But I feel like it is a separate thing, and it is like he shouldn't be expecting to start just because he's seeking therapy by any means. I'm thinking. Right. Otherwise, give him 10, 15 minutes.
Pandering to the virtue signaling, right? Otherwise, the second that works, you set a bad precedent. the next time that
Eric Dyer's going to see a therapist. Now he needs minutes. Yeah.
Eric Dyer says
no, and I'm not saying that. And Eric Dyer should seek a therapist.
Gave me a bad whatever.
Yeah, I think this is why I was sort of leading on with my first questioning about the cultural side of it. I wonder how Richarlison is actually saying this. Are we reading too much into it? Is he just saying, look, I'm not right. My focus is bad. I need some help with it. I'm going to get it going. Not a problem. And then I'll be back, doing my best to break into the team and earn my run of games. If that's the case, I think it's pretty healthy. Are we sort of, hitting the alarm button too quickly, thinking, oh my God, this is really deep rooted. This is what happened with Dele Alli. It's happening all over again, the same things. You can't always tell, because I don't know what the standard thing is in Brazil, for example. How do they treat mental illness? Is it a big taboo thing?
That's interesting. I don't know. They're probably like, speak to your family. In Mexico, like the Mexican culture, and I'm not trying to relate this to the Brazilian culture, but I can speak to another culture. I'm right here on the border, and my suegra, my mother, they were all Hispanic. So it is still viewed in the Hispanic culture, at least. It's kind of like, well, what do you need to see a therapist for? What's wrong with you? What happened? Like nothing. It's more of like a denial of anything has happened. And that's why it's like a questionable thing to do. Whereas, yeah, I think like you said, Sean, it's just in America, it's more like, yeah, like people will see a therapist, not necessarily because something's wrong, but it's like the gym. You just need to physically feel better, but mentally, right? It's a different muscle that you're working out, and thinking about things in a new light can shining light on perspective that has yet to had a light shine on it can help everybody in every walk of life. And I stand by that, and I'm not even a damn therapist. So I don't know. I think it's an interesting take, and so I'm curious. I haven't seen anything in the chat yet about that, but I did want to also talk about the squad selection, because we are coming up on 40 minutes here, and I do have to end the show in at least the most I can go is like an hour from now. So I do want to talk about the squad, and I think that we can transition from, regardless of therapy, I think we can all agree Richarlison should not start versus Sheffield, nor does it seem like he should start versus Arsenal. I wouldn't mind having him come off the bench maybe earlier for Arsenal, just to be physical and kind of nasty with folks, but no, I see Sean shaking his head. So I do want to talk about the squad selection, and Kuva, I'll just start with you and we'll go around the horn. When the squad got announced, have you seen it? What was your reaction to it? You kind of said a little bit when I first brought you in, but I want you to. I didn't know we had a Pepe on the team, or excuse me, a Pele. We have a Pele on the team. Did you know that?
Pele.
Yeah.
I think first reaction to the squad was not surprised. You can't just ditch players that easily. I think the more I thought about it, I agreed with what Jazz Fusion was saying earlier in the chat. We basically ended up in a situation with Lloris and Dyer that we probably would have wanted to sell them, but it isn't possible. Whether you want to blame the chairman for that, or whether you want to blame the players for that, whatever the case, you can't just sort of just discard them and then have them hanging around the building on full pay and disrupting the team. What I worry about, and I think a lot of people will probably thinking the same thing, is these two players in particular were part of that sort of player power group that got talked about so much. And are they going to rock the boat? Does that put Ange's management position in a bit of jeopardy? Is that going to eat away and erode at the squad harmony? I think that's the biggest worry for me. But
that is a
how
worry,
are we going to know that? We've not been in this situation with these two players before, so remains to be seen. And I suppose the one good thing is, if that is the case, January really isn't that far away, so we can remedy things if need be. But a little bit disappointed, because if we had seen Lloris and Dyer just omitted from the squad, we would have thought, wow, Big Ange just putting his foot down here. We're seeing some real fireworks going off, but it's practicality, isn't it? You can understand it, and even if I don't like it, I do accept that we are run as a business as well. And if Levy thinks he's going to get money for these players, why would he let them go for nothing? It's a last gasp thing to have to tear up contracts if you don't need to.
Do we need to, though? Kate, do we need to tear up these?
I knew that was coming because I know how much you love Dyer, Jacob.
Oh, I love him so much. Actually, the video of him laughing at the fact we're losers makes me laugh now because he's not even in the 18. So it's just like, who's the loser now, bitch? But go ahead, Kate.
I think even though he's in the squad and the Reese are in the squad, they're not going to get anywhere near playing in the team. I think we've ended up with 5 goalkeepers. Is that right? And that 25. I mean, that's a little bit concerning. Surely, it just all seems a bit. We just seem a bit, what's the word, thin on the ground, massively. I mean, I just find it all a little bit concerning. I mean, obviously, see why Brendan Johnson was brought in, because he's homegrown. But yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm surprised Lloris is in there. I'm not surprised Dyer's in there. But again, I don't think they'll get anywhere near playing under Ange. But I suppose they're making up the numbers, really.
So, Sean, do you think it's more of a thing of like we have to keep them? So, like, I was in a few group chats, there was mixed emotions from different group chats that I was seeing. Like some group, I'm just going to read a couple of things that I was like, wow, that's interesting. Someone said Ainge is not his own man. That much we know now because obviously Dyer went to Levy and cried that Ainge won't let him play. Levy had a word, and now Dyer's in the squad. Is that the mood that you have, or is your mood more of the other way around, which is this was obviously going to happen?
Could you text me afterwards who said that?
It was in one of your group chats, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was your flip-flop, the one with the flip-flops on the photo.
Mia?
No, it wasn't Mia.
Okay.
It was in that group.
Listen, I don't know who it was, but listen, I mean, anyone that makes this about Daniel Levy somehow, I don't know. What it is. Look, I just think, yeah, of course, like you've got spots, right? There's no one missed out, so use the spots. You can't add any more. There's what's the point? What's the point of not using it? It's that simple, isn't it? Let's use Occam's razor, right? It's not really that complicated. There was enough spots, no one missed out. You might as well put them in just on the off chance that there's a disaster. What difference does it make in any event? I don't believe Eric Dyer will make the squads. He won't get any minutes unless there's an absolute shambles that happens, in some disaster. And I don't think Hugo Lloris will either, unless there's, I don't know, it would take probably a nuclear bomb to be dropped over London for all 4 of those goalkeepers to find themselves on the injury block ahead of Hugo Lloris. I don't see the problem either way. It is what it is. Like I was going to put a video out about it, and then I found myself like literally 17 seconds into the video going, yeah, it is what it is. It is what we thought it was going to be. There's nobody that's missed out, and everyone's in. All right, like, subscribe, and comment. And I can't put that out. That's just shameless, isn't it?
You could have totally put that out, yeah.
But you know me, Cooper. I like to make if I can make something in 1 minute, I've got to drag it out for 10 to get those watch time hours up.
You could get literally Bugsy to speak for you at that point.
And Bugsy, what do you got to say to this? Yeah, that'd be a good one.
You know what? I did manage to do though today. Just quickly, and sorry, Jacob, I've got to go because in 5 minutes I've got a work call. But
no worries.
I did manage to. Like, I was going to put out a long form video where I squeezed out like a 1 minute about the squad into a 10 minute. I was like, I can't do that. That's shameless. But instead, I decided to squeeze the entire international roundup, the entire squad's international performances into a 1 minute short. You will never see a man speak faster than I did in that video, so I implore everyone to check it out. It was quite remarkable. Should have been a horse racing commentator.
Nice.
That's excellent. Yeah. Not shameless at all either, might I add.
Sorry for the plug. But listen, mate,
no, keep plugging. No, I was saying it wasn't shameless. Your video, bro. I come here with most of these episodes is my Twitter bookmarks and me talking with the chat, and that's what and honestly, I've enjoyed the hell out of it because it's a good way to interact with the people who tune in and support the channel.
It's also kind of reminds me of those old Paul Verhoeven films with like RoboCop, with the news break. Give us a minute and we'll give you the world. Just cram it all in.
Yeah, it was. I was pretty impressed with myself. But anyway, guys, I'm so sorry. I've got to go. I've got a work call at 10 to 7. So I love you all. Thank you for having me. And
thank you for joining. Spurs Talk Show. Go over there if you haven't already. Big up, Sean. Have a good rest of your day, man.
You too.
I do have here I'm going to share just for you tequila. Just for you tequila. Go on, strap in now. Go on. Wow. There's the list. There's the list of the 25. So these are the non-homegrown list. Obviously, number 3 is the first one that stands out to me. Can I zoom this in? This looks kind of funny.
Jacob, who's number 1?
Excuse me?
Who's number 1 on the list?
Mr. Rodrigo Bentancur.
And you're welcome,
2,
ladies. You're welcome,
Bissouma.
ladies.
I think it's more men who enjoy me saying it than anyone.
Skip to 4. No, skip to 5. No, wait, skip to... No, skip it.
Just keep skipping. Just keep skipping. Obviously, you know, when you look at this, Eric Dyer, he comes in at number 3, and I think this is... I thought it was alphabetical, but I don't think it is. Is it? I don't think it is.
Yeah, it is.
Royale...
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Maybe it's just they were going by the E on Emerson. I don't know.
Yeah, it's the E on Emerson.
Yeah, because he has Emerson on the back of his shirt, doesn't he?
Justice for Mia. What's going on? Justice to Mia. There's the Shawnee Spurs talk show link. There's a link for Kate, and there's the link for Bobby K and Kuvas. Go subscribe if you haven't already. Kev G says fabulous, Jacob. Mr. Bentancur. Isn't that nice? Can't wait for him to come back, and then I get invited back onto We Are Tottenham TV just to say that. That'll be fun. You know, Brian Hill made it. Hugo Lloris, Lo Celso, Perisic, Pedro Porro, Richarlison. I mean, these are all the guys that are not under 21 that are not English. So then the homegrowns, Brandon Austin. And see, that's what I don't like. Is Eric Dyer's taking up one of the non-homegrown lists, which I feel like is a waste of a spot. I would rather have you take your pick, and I'd rather have them. But the homegrowns, Chewy?
Yeah.
He's not. He won't even show up for the morning show, so I can't have any trust in that man. Yeon Kyung, it is not actually by the players' numbers. I believe it is in alphabetical order. At least this one was. But I think the reason why Emerson Royale threw me off is they were going by the E in Emerson rather than the R, and then GHKLLPPR. So, but these, because the numbers also, like Yves Bissouma doesn't wear the number 2, Eric Dyer doesn't wear 3, etc. So they weren't out numerically. This was something I was actually looking forward to seeing when the squad list came out, which was the players' numbers. And I know it's kind of lame, and Paul Beatty gives me shit because I like numbers and names, and I like the aesthetic and the way that it looks on the shirt, etc. Like that's part of the whole kit and caboodle for me. So I want to see Mickey Van de Veen take the number 6. And I want to see Destiny Ugotti. I'm cool with 2 Goaty or 3 Goaty, whatever he wants. But I want to see those 2 number changes personally. I don't mind seeing the 37 because it makes me think of Adama every time. But personally, aesthetically, I'd rather see the number 2 and the 3 and the 6 out there, just aesthetically. But does anyone care? Kate, you're shaking your head. You don't care. You don't care about numbers.
No, I'm shaking my head because of your obsession with Adama.
What? It's not an obsession. It's just like a...
No, it is an obsession. Right, it's a mantra.
It's not an obsession. It's like a infatuation of sorts.
There you go. Which is an obsession.
Don't worry about how many DMs I've sent him. Don't worry about that. Because I'm pretty sure they expire over time.
I don't give a monkey.
It's the pictures you want to worry about.
It's the media shared between that you want to worry about for sure. No, but so yeah, now you got me all distracted.
Sorry.
You got me all distracted.
You're thinking about the oil, aren't you?
Jacob Adama doesn't even lift, bro. I know, it's all natural. All natural. Alan Sibley, first comment of the day, no Adama talk. He hates it when I bring up Adama. Why Hugo, why Dyer, get them gone, says Ronnie. Not going to lie, I completely forgot about Ryan Sessegnon. I think he's only there to fill this quota because we have the exact number of homegrown. You had to have 7, and we have 7, I believe. It is 7, right? 3, 6, 8. I guess it's 8. Well, Alfie Whiteman, he ain't even gonna.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, it's always too much of a panic looking at the homegrown because you only need 8 if you're having a 25-man squad. There's nothing to stop us naming less people in the squad, less players in the squad, and filling it out with youth team, under 21s on match days.
Because you can have unlimited U21s.
Yeah, so you could just concentrate. Look at it as we've got a maximum of 17 foreign players that you can have. The rest of it you can fill out with them under 21s if you really want to.
I mean,
it's
if you think about,
if you want to have a 25-man squad where they are all over that age, then it has to be 8 of them homegrown. So I think we're seeing the start of a longer build for filling out that quota, because I think these young players we're getting now, the Phillips, for example, and we'll see Dorringtons and people like that coming through. They'll start growing. Divine, they'll start coming of age, and they will be our homegrown players in time. I don't think it's as much of a panic as some people think it is. It's a long-term process. We don't have to do it all at once, and we have got young players coming through. It's not a problem for me. I think the only bit that matters was trimming down that 17 foreign players quota, because that is set in stone.
And I think we know why, at least now, why there's 5 keepers, right? 3 of them are on the homegrown list, along with Sessegnon, who's never going to see the light of day. It's interesting. And then, Brennan Johnson as well, the deadline day signing, so to speak. It's interesting. It's interesting, to say the least. And then, obviously, the U21s that we registered. This is what I'm saying. I didn't know Pele played at our club, and I feel pretty great about that going forward.
And Casanova, look, we've got some great names.
And we have Casanova and Charlie Chaplin's grandson. What are we doing? Greg Abbott, that's the governor of Texas. He's a paraplegic, but apparently not his son, George Abbott, who plays for the U21s as well. Charlie Chaplin's son, Iago de Santiago. Actually, I do want to see this guy. I do want to see Iago Santiago. I've seen him in the academy do very well. Jamie Donnelly, Dorrington, Luca Gunter. Gunter, I barely know her. Tyrese Hall, Niall John, Josh Keeley, William Lancashire. Or is it Lancashire, Kate?
Jacob, you kill me. You absolutely kill me.
I tried to move on real quick from that joke. Did you see? I tried to move on really quick from that joke.
Oh dear.
Maxwell McKnight. That sounds like one of those big corporate owners in a Batman movie or something.
Yeah.
My name's Maxwell McKnight. Yeah. Maxwell McKnight Industries. Ashley Phillips. Look, but this is the next part why I'm going through this also, because look at the names that are going to be on the 18 that are a part of the U21 list, which I think it kind of plays hand in hand with what you were saying there, Kuva. We've got Ashley Phillips checking in, Papa Matessar checking in. I like this Jude Sudset Bell as well. Destiny Ugodi, Alejo Veliz. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, maybe not Veliz. Let's not count Veliz. So four players from the U21 are actually like on our squad right now. But they're part, like they don't even count for the international hit. So that's actually kind of nice. It'd be interesting to see. Maxwell McKnight, that is a great name.
It's also comes as a relief, if you like, that we don't have to spend sort of 500 million to replace all these squad members that are aging and their contracts are going to finish. We might love the fact that we go out and spend 500 million. It was never going to happen. So let's have some of these talented youngsters coming through. Said on the streams, I think on this, well, must have said on this stream as well at some point. Don't have any fear in the youth coming through. I think it's a good thing. I really wanted to see this for a long time, and now is the great time to do it. We've got a really forward-thinking manager. There's a bit of momentum starting here. I can see the way forward several years into the future with this club. We hang on to this manager, and it's going to involve a lot of these players forcing their way into the squad and actually doing things, doing big things. In the past, you see all these rave reviews about some of the under-21s. Oh, they're on fire! Look what they're doing, and then they end up going abroad for peanuts. That was always been the case. I'm hoping this is the big shift that we've been hoping for a while. and perhaps people have been saying that's basically it's Paratici's brainchild was to get this process in order. If that's the case, I've been discrediting him too much, because this is a good direction to take. We're not going to be outbidding Man City and Newcastle and the similar with when it comes to top name players. We need to get the cream of the crop from the younger players pool, put them together nicely. Brighton are showing the way. With our resources, we can do that at a higher level, with all respect to Brighton, of course. We should be able to do it with our pool should be a lot more than theirs. So let's see it. I'm really excited by it all.
Rich, this is a great comment. Says it does seem mad that at least 6 out of the 25 will do absolutely nothing this season. 4 backup goalies plus Cess plus Dyer. That's funny. That is absolutely hilarious. Kate, what are you thinking when I'm looking through this list here? I mean, this one's hilarious to me. The homegrown quota. It's like, okay, obviously that's why Brandon Austin, Alfie Whiteman, Fraser Forster. I guess that justifies why they're still here. Ryan Sessegnon, who was half a leg. I guess
I mean, the only 2 out of that lot that's worth anything are Johnson and Madison. Davies has just been here for about 30 years. Oliver Skip can't cut it. I'm not sure about Alfie Whiteman, to be fair. Forster's useless. Brandon Austin, not convinced. So, yeah. It's just exactly as I thought it'd pan out after the transfer window finished. This is just what I thought would happen. There's nothing we can do. It kind of is what it is. All we got to do is hope and pray week in, week out that we don't get any injuries.
Yeah, it is almost a little bit like in 6 different positions. If we get an injury, we're going to be screwed. I think if Madison went down, we're screwed. So that's 1. If Basuma went down, we're screwed. That's 2. Destiny Ugodi, that's 3. Because imagine what Ben Davies is going to look like out there if Destiny missed. Van de Veen, I would say the left-sided center back as well is another one. We look completely different. Romero is 5. Vicario's 6. Vicario. That's a great shout. I would even argue if Son's not up there in the front, we look a lot different because he's been quality.
I'd say Porro as well, because Emerson Royale, I don't rate him at all. So
I guess that's the only, maybe one of the only. I mean, I'm at 7, so let's see. That might be one of the only positions where I guess there's an argument to be made that we would survive without him. But Pedro Porro's passing in that Burnley match, absolutely. But so you're probably spot on. But I'm trying to think where there's 7 spots that are at least like 100% we would suffer if we have an injury there. I guess right wing, Brennan Johnson, Kulusevski, I guess that's kind of a push. Sarr, if Sarr goes down, I mean, we have Bentancur coming up. We have, I guess, Skip and Højbjerg. So we have some, I guess they could come in and do a Sarr role. I mean, I don't want to see it, but you could argue that there's some depth in the Højbjerg, the Skip, etc. So I don't
even see that. I don't think they can do Sarr as well. No, it's that's not just being biased. I just don't see them having that kind of engine and that effectiveness of doing it. Højbjerg as a box to box, it takes him half an hour to get out of the tunnel.
No, come on.
That's not what Ellie said.
That's definitely not what Ellie said.
I think Højbjerg is perfect. It's suited if you're going to do a low block and he just sits in front of the defence. I don't see him having the pace or the physicality to do what some of our other players do. Look at the difference between him and a Basuma. I think Sarr's more able to do a Basuma role than Højbjerg is able to do either of those roles. I just don't really see the fit here at the moment. But it's not as big a problem as some of the other positions, for sure.
We really do lack strength in depth massively.
Yeah, and that was on full display for Fulham. Absolutely. Woodsy TV YouTube chat member says here, we've really said if it happens this season, 1 game a week, and if injuries do happen that we'll throw the kids in and let's see what happens. And I'm kind of okay with that because there was another comment earlier. Let me see who said it. Was it Kev G? Gunter? I barely know her. It was Kev G. U21s are better. And I'm looking at the U21 list versus this homegrown list. And honestly, yeah, I'd rather see some of these kids than Sessignon or Ben Davies or, I mean, I guess
it's the timing's just perfect. It really is. There's no expectations on this season. But forget people getting upset about the cup exit and everything. As far as I was concerned, I'm already looking 3-4 years down into the future. I'm not worried about if we get knocked out of cups this season. Of course it'll be a lovely bonus if we pick one up along the way. And by the time January arrives, FA Cup arrives, maybe we are playing in that consistent sort of form, but to nick something. Who knows? But for me, I'm not worrying about the whole season. I think it's just about Ange getting to know the squad and know who he doesn't want this season.
Okay, yeah.
Start shifting more of those out. We've already got rid of some. We know we've got talent coming through in the youth. We've I think it was Adrian Stroker put the comment about the 16 to 18-year-olds fixed rate pay structure has been abolished. That's a big deal. That means we can pay big money wages to some of these really exceptional talents around the world. And it's when I say really big money, that could be just like 15, 20 grand compared to what they're currently getting, a few hundred or a couple of thousand. It's a big hike for them, but it's so much of a money saver for us compared to paying somebody like Eric Dyer or a Fraser Forster, 70, 80, 100 grand a week just to be on the bench. Makes no sense. Better to invest that money in the young players coming through. And I think abolishing that wage cap is a great move. It means we're able to compete with some of the bigger teams doing it. And let's face it, there are bigger teams. We are not the biggest fish in the pond. It's a good way forward. It's a good way forward. We just got to have a little bit of faith in it, a little bit of patience.
I would say not even just a little. Some people say just a little cream and sugar in my coffee, hun. And actually, it ain't just a little. Girl wants a whole wallop, a whole month's load worth of fucking milk in that. Come on now. The sugar's fucking heaping it. Half the damn cup filled with sugar. You said a little bit. What are we doing? Woodsy TV says biggest worry for me is when we lose Papi Chulo and Eves to AFCON, which also Sun for the Asian Cup at the same time. Are y'all at all a bit worried there that obviously we said when we lose Eves to injury, if we lose him to injury, we're fucked. So if he leaves for AFCON, you could say the same thing. We're fucked. I guess that's why Højbjerg's here, right? Unless we get rid of him, because that is, I think AFCON is during the window, if I'm not mistaken. So we could be shipping the likes of him out. Who knows? But I could see him staying all season and filling that role anyway.
It's only a couple of games, isn't it, that we lose him for? Is it two or three?
Three.
Yeah, it's worrying, but what can we do?
It could be 4 because AFCON starts on the day of one of our matches, so they would be gone before. So I think it's 4 at maximum. At maximum. So 4 matches at maximum that we got to see. Let's see. Let's go through the list of players from the U21s because I'm not looking at any other motherfucker. I don't want to see Lo Celso play there. Nah, give me Casanova, who's gonna woo the opponents with a little smoochy and dance and suave, or give me
a whole lot of cream and sugar.
A whole lot of cream and sugar, or Charlie Chaplin. He'll do the silent thing. You won't hear a peep out the motherfucker, but he'll perform for you. That's what I'm kind of hoping anyway. Or Luca Gunter. We don't even know her, but he made Gunter. And I'm okay with that. Big up Ronnie. If we stay injury free, we can win the league, I think. A lot of Spurs fans feeling this way. Kuva, I know where you stand. Are we winning the league?
It's all about dreams, isn't it, mate?
Rudy.
We have got a manager whose career is about being told he can't do things and then doing it anyway. That's what we need if we're going to get success. This season, I think for the obvious reasons, we have not got to grips with the way he wants to play yet. It's fledgling days. Next season, who knows? I'm all about dreaming about it. You sometimes the underdog does have their day. Every dog has their day, as they say. I think we're ready for this. I think there's players responding to what Ange wants. We can see the way forward. Clearly, the style of play is developing incredibly quickly. I wasn't expecting us to play anything like this until Christmas, at least. But it's happening. There is something about this manager of ours that I think is really special. Some of us are seeing it, some of us aren't. But I think come this time next season, we're going to be a higher level of expectations because we're going to be believing. And I think I just got this feeling he's going to be lifting us not just one trophy, but if we hang on to him long enough, maybe nicking a couple too along the way. Man City's always going to be a tough nut to crack, but why not? Let's dream. Let's go for it. Let's defeat
City aren't a tough nut to crack as long as we play them at home. They ain't scored in that building, not once.
I actually think if we're playing this brand of football,
they will.
Might get
the curse. Hey, I've always said Ainge is the breaker of curses and myths, right? He's going to break the trophy curse. He's going to break the Spursy curse. He's going to break the Harry Kane curse. He's going to break all these curses. And the other curse he might break, I mean, when you're breaking curses, sometimes the innocent casualty may be the curse that City has at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium that they haven't scored there yet. I just love that, quite frankly. Y'all won the treble. Yeah, was it 3 years in a row, 4 years in a row? Have fun. Fuck you. You can't
just
score versus
playing us each week. Yeah.
Yeah. Talk to me nicely. He needs some milk.
He needs some milk.
So Tequila says it's all well and good the fans having patience. Need to ask yourself, will Daniel Levy have the patience? I guess this is the next worry, right? Because I can sit here and say, yes, I give Ainge I give him his entire contract, and quite frankly, I'm ready to extend it, and we're only 4 games in. Don't tell me I'm falling in love too early. But what I will say is, at least 4 windows is what I've said I give him to see the best what he can get out of the squad that he has, because 4 windows is adequate amount of time, I think, for a manager to come in and try and get the profile of players that he wants. And we've been doing that slowly but surely. We've been getting those player profiles that Ainge Postecoglou wants, i.e. and like Brennan Johnson, he's young, fast, he's got the right kind of head on his shoulders. This is a guy that Ainge, I just think that things are different. Things are very much different now. So my hope is that Daniel Levy will have the patience to embrace the change, right? I think I would hope he's smart enough, at least. I mean, he's smart enough to go his day-to-day life, go to Cambridge, sit in a big-ass leather chair, and talk to some other fucking Ivy League bastard who's probably eating from a silver spoon too. So yes, he's smart enough to go through a daily life as a human. So surely, but don't call me Shirley, he's smart enough to see we're in a position now that it's not like Jose Conte, even Nuno, motherfucker, because at this juncture, we need to build. We need to keep building. So I would hope that he has that patience. That being said, Kate, do you have faith or hope at least that Daniel Levy will have that patience that some of us fans have?
Yeah, I do. I think Daniel Levy's going to fall in love with Ange like we all have. I do. I think he'll be asking him to give him bedtime cuddles and all sorts, polish his head,
Ooh,
everything.
A rub down. Okay.
Yeah, talk to me nicely and polish my head. Talk to me
nicely indeed.
So, no, I do. I really do think that, I think Levy's going to give this guy time. I think you can see already the difference he's made. The feeling around the club is a lot more positive. And I think if anyone can unite, like sort of bridge the gap between the board and the fans, Ange the man is the one to do it.
So you think Big Papa Ange, the way that he's worked us fans over, like we were stubborn dough and he was the roller, and he's like, don't you worry, I'm going to roll you through and make a nice, smooth fucking bread here. I'm going to roll this up, maybe make a croissant. I don't really know. But the dough, he is rolling it out. So we're saying, at least from a Kate perspective, you think the Ainge charm can exceed beyond the bearings of normal humans and reach the upper echelons of the 1%?
Absolutely. I think there are no bounds to the charm of the big bear that is our wonder from down under, Mr. Ange Postecoglou.
I mean,
No
as much as we all praise Ainge and what he's done here and the business he's done, we got to remember who appointed the guy. It was Daniel Levy. I know people hate. I know it's like fucking pulling teeth, going to the dentist when people got to admit that Levy did something good. Yes, he does do bad things. There are some naughty dentists out there. But overall, dentists are there to fucking help you. And I hate going just as much as the next guy. Now, I don't want Levy here, but I'm, I guess, humble enough to admit that getting a millionaire out of $1 billion company is not really the easiest thing to do, even if you're the federal government, as you see with Joe Louis. He's farting around courtrooms, having a good time. Everyone's pockets are getting fatter at the moment. So, like, these things don't just happen as far as the whole getting Levy out. So, like, on some sense, I have to, like, mentally be okay with the fact that Levy's breathing and existing. So I'm okay with it. I'm hoping that things are different. Kuva, you've seen this play out for quite some time. Do you think and hope, or where are you at in regards to Levy having the patience for Ainge Postecoglou? Because like we saw with previous managers, maybe he didn't have that same patience.
Well, as you know, I've been staunch Levy out for a long time. And there is one thing Brian Daigle and I have always agreed on, and that is if Levy finally starts doing the right things, guess what? We'll shut up. We'll just sit back and go, yeah, let's see where this goes. And right now, I'm seeing signs of it. So I'm actually hopeful that we're starting to get this kind of structure we've been asking for a long time. It's at least partially starting to come together. If we're now getting the go-ahead for younger players coming in, actually invest in them, scrapping that wage cap that Adrian was talking about, good moves, getting in a very progressive, attack-minded manager who's capable of inspiring a squad that perhaps isn't at the quality level of some of the ones around them, but to get them to perform in a better way and get the best out of players we already do have. I think there's a good possibility here. You can take some of that flack away from you, Mr. Levy. I think if you start doing the right thing, go with it, see it through, because that's been the frustrating thing over the years. Is we always, the moment it starts going tits up, manager gets sacked, and we literally haven't had a full-time manager that hasn't been sacked under Levy. That's the simple fact of it.
I mean, how long have we gone? We haven't gone a whole season from start to finish with the same. And how long since Pochettino?
Well, yeah, 4 years, is it? Yeah,
that's absolutely absurd. We're moving like we're a college football team. In college football, it's just every fucking year some Joe out there is like, hey y'all, we're here to get you inspired, and then he's sacked 3 games in. So like, it's just
I think
not a recipe for success.
Yeah, I think what's really persuaded me that's going to be different this time is Ange, that just the way he talks. You don't get any of this layers of bullshit with him, do you? It's absolutely blunt force trauma truth coming out of him. This is exactly what he thinks and exactly what he wants to do. And I think if he can negotiate with Levy to get himself into that job in the first place, Levy's going to be saying, well, all right, I know where I'll stand. I'll do it. If Levy didn't like what Ange wants to do, he wouldn't have hired him. So I think we might just be being dragged to where we want to be, and it's all due to the infectious personality and drive of this manager. People are hoping for it with Mourinho and Conte. No such thing. You kept seeing sound bites and sort of prepared statements in press conferences, like you could tell they've probably been told off and not allowed to speak their mind. I don't think you get that with Ange. I don't think you'll ever see it with him. He will say it as it is. He won't have an agenda against anybody. It'll just be very factual. Such and such having a bit of a problem. I've dropped him. No problem. We'll see if he can come back into the team. We need this. We need that. I wanted this player. He doesn't need to talk about the crap about politics in the background. He's focused on the team. I think it's a good fit. I'm just delighted with what's happening at the moment. Only time tells how this this pans out, though, doesn't it? I have deep, prejudice against the chairman because of what's happened over the last 23 years and the fact we're always chopping and changing. But I think this is. I'll just believe. This could be a turning point. All the signs are looking good at the moment. It's going to take a while. That's the trouble. And I think you were saying that a few moments ago, Jacob. Just need to hang in there because we're on this. We're on a long ride here. It's just the beginning. The beginning's fantastic.
Yeah, it's starting out great, and that's the thing is, when you start out great, there's only one direction to go, right? And that's either to stay where you're headed, which is continually great, or not so great. And I think a lot of people realize the not so great's going to happen at some point, and we're all going to have to brace for that. I think from a fan's perspective, at least what I've seen, everyone's very well and okay with giving Ainge time. I don't know what Spurs fan went into this season with any kind of high expectations. Now our hopes are getting high because of what we're seeing thus far, but our expectations have remained relatively low, at least from my personal perspective. Kate, where do you see Spurs fans aligning with this? Do you think we'll be patient enough? Do you think we'll be willing to hang in there as a Spurs fan base when, say, we drop 3-4 matches in a row? Because that's going to happen at some point. Will the chair, will the fans, will everyone be okay, or is everyone going to be freaking out? Is it going to be a barn fire like we saw after Fulham?
No, I think the majority of the fan base know that this guy is the guy. I think it just fits. Everything feels like it's fit into place. It gets the club, it gets the fans, it gets the philosophy of the club, it gets the ethos, it gets us playing the way we've all been longing to see. I mean, if we lose to Arsenal and Liverpool, but play brilliant football, it doesn't hurt as much as when you lose and you play absolute shit. Do you know what I mean? It's like we rolled over and let us tickle our tummy last year. This year, we go out there, we play like we know we can on the front foot. And if we lose, well, I think the fans will have bought into it. The ones that are a bit on the fence, I think they will buy into it. And for me, I think we're so incredibly lucky that he's at our club. It just seems like the perfect fit at the moment.
I agree.
Long may it continue.
Yeah, I agree. Long may it continue. And he does seem like the guy that we've been waiting for, and we didn't even know it. It's like it's the old Hollywood romantic comedy story, right? We're pining after the beautiful, sexy, tight Jean Nagelsmann from Germany. Show me the lederhosen, is what everyone was saying. And at the grocery store, we bumped into homely, very
chubby,
a little chunk, but hey, a little cushion for the pushing, a little more to love. What's not to love,
He's perfect.
He's perfect. And that's the thing is, you see him, you may not be like, oh, wow, you're a Champions League winner, you're a Premier League winner, you've got, these big milkers. And it's just like, sometimes doesn't work out that way. Sometimes you're just like, this is the love I needed. This is
that's right.
what I needed in my life right now. So you know what? Okay, you're turning bright red over there like a little cherry. This is a good time to say, hit those likes. I see 89 votes and only 55 likes. Y'all clearly hate us and what we've been talking about today. So what's the deal, y'all? I know I've been a little silly.
Squeaky clean and chiseled doesn't cut it. You want a bit of smelly and cuddly.
Right. Like, think about Mrs. Doubtfire. Pierce Brosnan was this, yes, charming. Yes, I'm Pierce Brosnan. And then you got Robert Williams. He's actually the guy you want. You should. But I mean, again, it is Sally Field after all. Just Sally Field. Something about her. I hate it. Maybe because she's a buzzkill in the movie Mrs. Doubtfire. Maybe that's why her character in Mrs. Doubtfire, it was just like Robin Williams was just trying to be a good dad. And now you're taking that away and you're being a bitch and you're dating Pierce Brosnan. That's not fair.
Yeah,
that's
but
not nice.
Let's be fair.
I know. But Robin Williams is a little hairy, yes, and a little frumpy, yes, a little round in areas in which, because I remember there was a scene in Mrs. Doubtfire where Pierce Brosnan there at the pool, he takes off his shirt, does a nice dive, and the kids are like, Dad, why doesn't your stomach look like that? And I I sympathize with that. And Ainge is the guy whose stomach doesn't look like a Pierce Brosnan, but damn it, he's who we needed. And we've got it. We found him at the grocery store, and now we're in love. That's me. Americanka likes Sally Field. She's the kid. Again, it was just, I saw that as a role, like her role in that movie, Mrs. Doubtfire, specifically ruined me as a child. And she was like always like that mean mom, like, God, get off my back. Stop. Just like, stop being mean. But anyway, that's a little bit of a tangent.
It's a dangerous film though to view him as a role model, because I mean, I tried that to be a better father, you know, a bit of cross-dressing, bit of makeup, went down to make breakfast, and I just ended up with a divorce.
Well, at the end of the movie, he doesn't end up back up with Sally Field. She does stay with, I think, Pierce Brosnan, but they agree to, like, you know, let the dad see the kids or whatever. Hasper says, too early to call for me in regards to Ainge Postecoglou being the fit. Hasper, I think, shares the sentiments that we saw yesterday with Scott M. We had Scott M on the channel yesterday. If you missed it, almost at 3,000 views yesterday's show. So really good debate, healthy debate, I think, on the channel. The vibes were kept immaculate for a debate, and I don't know where else you can get that, because normally it turns into, you know, people just stepping over each other. And I thought Scott came in, provided the antithesis of a point that I was making, and it was a very healthy discussion. And you know what? He's still going to put on them swim trunks and show up to the barbecue. I'll tell you what, he's going to fall in love with Ainge before December. That is a personal goal of this channel, and it's going to happen.
Even if there's like fingernail marks all the way across the lawn, he is coming into that.
He's coming, yeah. Even if he has to show up, we wrap him up like Hannibal Lecter, you know, with the mask and everything. We just roll him into the party. It'll be all right. Big up Dub Shaman in the house. You know, it'll be interesting to see how these things play out over time. But I think we're going to be close to wrapping up the show, so get any final questions you may have. And I got a couple more bookmarks that may or may not tickle y'all's fancy, but they do for me. So there are a couple things that I do want to go over before the day is done. And it's all... everything I'm seeing right now is freaking Richarlison, but there's some other stuff I wanted to share. That's not so like mental health and like woke culture and like talking about that, or necessarily the Spurs squad selection. And it's fun. It's a bit of fun stuff. And it's about the one and only Cuti Romero, the beast. Look at this guy. Look at this fucking guy with his mother, first of all. Put some damn respect on the man's name. But anyway, the story that came out today, Victor Romero, which is Christian Romero's father, says, with his first salary, I remember that he called his mother and asked her to choose a house for him, and then he gave her that house. Look at this guy.
Oh, that's so sweet.
That's literally, like, as a guy, I mean, my mom passed when I was 20 years old, so I didn't get the chance to, but I remember as a kid growing up, that was always like, I want to make a shit ton of money and buy my mom whatever the fuck she wants. And it's so great when you see, and you know, my mom always said it's only Hispanics that will do that, by the way, but it's not true. That she was just looking in she had her Mexican glasses on, and they were very red, white, and green tinted. But this man bought a house for his mom, but not only did he do that, oh, sorry, there's some Richarlison crying. There's a Richarlison crying. There's an international break roundup. There it is. This is what I wanted to share also. So Cuti Romero's father also said what I just said. He gifted that house to her. And then he says, this is his father, says, my birthday was coming up, and 20 days before, I was taken to see different houses. I thought it was a house that Cuti wanted to buy for himself, because I always stressed to him that he should invest in a roof over his head. I didn't have my own house, and when he showed me around, he asked if I liked it. I was delighted. It was a beautiful brand new house, and suddenly he said to me, this house was my birthday present. To this day, I remember that. I can't go on. I get emotional. So first and foremost, I just want to say, if you didn't love him yet, the fuck's wrong with you? If you love him now, you should. And if you're still wondering why I should love him, he does this. He buys homes for his family, and then he takes things from our opponents, like their souls, their will to carry on, their desire to be in the match. Erling Haaland, yeah, he won all this golden boot. What did he do when he seen Cuti Romero flying around that pitch? You could say it was reckless all you want. What I will say is he's a man on a mission, and this is exactly how he looked even when he got sent off. He didn't give a fuck. You want to know why? Because Erling Haaland didn't want to play. Erling Haaland said, I'll sit the rest of this one out. I ain't going to score a goal today. That's what he said when Christian Romero came up against him. But anyway, that is a little fun news I wanted to share. Kuva, you're shaking your head. Was there a moment in time when you were not Team Romero? But I remember there was a time in the group chat when you said, you know what, Jacob, I'm all in on this. And it was me just never, I guess, unrelenting, bigging up Romero because I think he is the guy.
The moment he arrived, I loved him. I'm all over that sort of player. You look at Sergio Ramos. It's a career of getting at people. It's not backing off and pointing. It's you get in there. It's a man's game. It's still a man's game if you make it that way. I just love the fact he's aggressive, preemptive. He doesn't wait to react to what the opposition's doing. He goes to make those tackles. Last season, look at what's happening around him. Uncertainty from the manager, uncertainty from players around him. You put him in a team where there's focus and a direction, you're going to get a great player. And I think he is that great player. I think he's going to get better and better. And he'll be prove to be one of our best signings over the next 20 years or so. I see this partnership between him and Van der Ven just blossoming. It's getting better and better. Van der Ven still needs some time to settle in. When it's in full working order, I think it's going to be one of the best up there. I really do feel that way. People say, he's not that good in the air and things like that. That's not what I'm seeing this season. I'm seeing a player that's got full belief in what he's doing.
I think he has one aerial challenge he was unsuccessful at.
Yeah.
One in four matches.
He's now playing for a manager he believes in. It's simple as that. A lot of these players are.
That's a good point, yeah.
I think it really does matter. If there's no sense of purpose, why put the effort in? It's very difficult to motivate yourself there like that. I think he's getting exactly what he wants now, which is us playing a proper style of football. He's allowed to be as aggressive as he wants, and he's got a bit of trust in the players around him, and the manager has faith in him, made him captain. I remember I was one of the few people last season, I think maybe you said it as well, Jacob, I wanted to see him be a captain. I was quite happy for that. I think it brings the best out of certain players. He is one, because even if he's not the most verbal, it doesn't matter. He leads by example. I've always seen that in him. So I dismissed all of the things said about him last season. I could see past that, and I'm glad I stuck with it, because it's not because I just want to be one up on fellow YouTubers and things. It's because I'm just delighted to see a player of this caliber blossoming in our team. And I'll apply that to Richarlison as well. Despite the fact I don't think he's a very talented player, I don't think we should have signed him in the first place. I think we need to try and just get something out of him. If we can help him through with his off-field problems, just get some player in there that can offer a bit of aggression, bit of aerial ability. Maybe he only scores 5 or 6 goals in the season. But you know what? They could be 5 or 6 really important goals. And they could be coming from players that, at a time when we've got injuries and we're desperate for somebody up front. We need him to be able to step up and just be that man. He doesn't have to be Messi. He just has to be a little bit of the Richarlison that was at Everton. He's not a 30 goals a season man. He never will be. But if he can chip in with a few important goals when we need him, so be it. It's making the most of what you got. That's what management is. And I think Ange will, when he needs to, and Richarlison puts in the work, and I believe he will. One thing I've never doubted about him is his ethic to actually put the shift in. His form obviously is pretty atrocious. His touch has gone. Perhaps a bit of belief in his own ability has gone. But you do see him making the runs still. You do see him putting the shift in. He comes off after putting in some hard work. You got to kind of get the best out of him. So from one point of view, from Romero, because I think he's absolutely fantastic player. You've also got to look at the players that are struggling. Skip as well. There's so much talk about him not being good enough. I'm one as well. I don't see where it's going, but with Ange here, maybe we see something develop we haven't seen before. Those couple of goals against Barcelona, for example. Oh, perhaps he can get forward more. I don't know. I don't know with some of these ones, but got to give them a chance. We can't just write everybody off.
I agree.
The only ones you can do that with is those long-term players that have let you down season after season after season, and that means Eric Dyer for a start.
You said Eric Dyer, and I enjoyed everything you were saying.
Yeah, I know, I ruined it.
And then you just
beauty on screen and mentioned Dyer. Oh,
yeah, well, that's okay. Big up Dub Shaman. Big up everyone. The Kuti thing for me is, I feel like I have been slightly shameless just because of last season about him, because it's nice to see him be the player I thought him to be. I mean, I think everyone thought he had a really great first season with us, and he was playing with Dross. Then he played with the same Dross the next season. It wasn't quite so good, so the questions around his ability and his decision makings were brought up. But like Drula here says, big up Drula, says, didn't Kuti say if Conte stayed that he would have left? So obviously he was miserable just like everyone else who was miserable last year. So I give him a pass. I give a lot of people a pass for last season, because necessarily if you're not happy, like we're seeing with Richarlison, he's got to seek help, man. You got to get happy before you can perform well at whatever your job is. So big up Kuti. What a heartwarming story.
As we said, Jacob, the last season we had that very small little fan club, didn't we? The two of us, and just the occasional.
And Phil Barnett.
Yeah. There'll be a few people would drop in from time to time, but it was a very small little fan club for Romero. I think it's grown considerably this season.
Yeah, I'm just saving this photo to my device so I can have it at any moment here. So just apologies 1 second while I do save this photo, because, these are things, they're just too beautiful to let go, and I need to save it on my device. So when they look through my hard drive and they see all the things that I have, they'll know where they'll know how I feel. A lot like this. But that's okay. Got to save that photo. Look at that. I mean, young Kuti with his mother, and he's like, this house for you. Who got blocked out, though? Look, you can see right here, he just did like the Microsoft Paint and gray painted. Looks like someone was here. You see this on the photo?
Eric Dyer.
Yeah, it must have been Eric Dyer. But this looks like he was young. This is probably Juventus days, Romero. I don't know. Big up Romero. There's the last bit. I guess Tom Holland now is going to talk about Tottenham, and so everyone's like, "Woo, Spider-Man," whatever. To me, Tobey Maguire's my Spider-Man. I don't care what anyone says. So that's the end of that conversation in regards about Spider-Man. Tobey Maguire, the one and only, forever. Emo Spider-Man. Who else did Emo Spider-Man? Nobody but Tobey. Put some respect on Tobey Maguire's name. I did hear they did a recently movie where they were like all in a universe together, all the Spider-Mans. And that's kind of weird and confusing, and I didn't want to watch it. But Tobey Maguire...
Actually, there was a really old Spider-Man from the 1980s where he was a bit emo, but I can't remember the name of the actor.
Oh, it's hilarious. Big up Leo. Big up. The love affair Mia's got. She's always had some competition. Let's keep it 100. I've never gone away. It's just because she's a woman that everyone attributes her love in a normal manner, and they don't with mine. But guess what? Does she have photos saved like this on command, 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 and soon to be Kuti with his mother on command? I'm just saying.
I think maybe you need therapy, Jacob.
Yeah, we all do. There's no shame in it. Patty says, always loved Romero. Nothing I love more than seeing as a Spurs player clatter an opposition player and bend them into. I fucking love it, man. Jacob, you should watch it. It was amazing. All three Spider-Men together. You might be right, Joshua. Is that Ten Hag in your photo? Big up Joshua. I might need to. But Tobey Maguire for me is just, that was my childhood, man. When I think of Spider-Man, it's not Tom Holland. When I see Tom Holland, I think of that starving kid in that movie about the shipwreck crew that survived like 3 months out at sea and he was eaten or something like that. So that's what I think of Tom Holland.
I think that's what happened to Stoke City, isn't it?
Something like that.
Oh my God.
People don't equate kidnapping with a greater love, Jacob. That's more like misery. Oh yeah, because Mia's got him locked up in the basement. That's right. It's Ole Gunnar Hag. Oh, I have one of that, but it's Ainge and Antonio Conte blended into one. I have one of those. I may have to add that. I didn't want to disrespect Ainge with it, honestly, but it's pretty great. I called it Ainge Contaglu, and here you go. There you go. So screenshot that if you want that one too, Joshua. If you want these blended managers.
Oh my god, that's bizarre.
It's kind of fun.
I don't know how I feel about that one.
You don't, Kuva, I didn't see you smile at all when I showed it. You look kind of disturbed. It's funny.
It's weird, isn't it?
It makes you feel weird, yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's like when your brain's telling you something's not right here. Yeah, my eyes must be lying, kind of thing. No, Drula, I did have to go early today. Had some life things that had to take precedence, so I moved today's show up early, and that's why there's been like 88 people, I think. Let me see. What numbers are we at here? 97 votes. So 97 people have checked in, but only 68 have liked. That's 29 folks who do not want to like the video, but do want to participate in the poll. But that's okay. We can get them likes up, Shirley, but don't call me Shirley. And either way, it's all good. Yesterday's video got like 250 likes, so I really can't complain. 3,000 views. That's absolutely phenomenal. So big ups to everyone who did tune in to yesterday. Toby is why you will enjoy the Tom Holland Spider-Man film. The third Tom Holland Spider-Man. Do I have to watch them in chronological order, though? I'm kind of I like to see them in order, you know, that they're supposed to be digested, but I don't know. Big up Paul G. Big up Drula. That hurt. The Ainge Postecontaglu. Big up Alex Box Office. Harry Redknapp had a good personality. Look what happened. He got sacked by Levy. Postecoglou got long way to go. Sorry. Don't be sorry. That's your opinion, my friend. You're allowed to it. Big up Kuva. I've hit the like, and as I walked in, grabbing the free beer. What a lad. Got us up to 72 likes. So big up DB and everyone who has liked the video, the 72s of y'all who are trying to help this channel, who are supporting and helping the channel grow in a free way. I'm always a major proponent of free. So big up Jamie Get in the house. Jim says, I must be weird. I thought he was handsome. Kate, what do you think? This man walks into dinner and your husband says, I trust him. He looks handsome. What are you saying?
No. I say he looks like Klinsmann to me. I think he's a weird looking thing now.
It's fucking weird. That's for sure. That's why I saved it.
I think there's something a little bit serial killer about him.
Yeah.
Very weird look.
All right, one more time. There you go.
No. Wee. No.
It's the eyes with that mouth shape. There's something about it that just doesn't sit right. It's
no, I don't like it. I have nightmares now.
It does feel weird when you look at it. Like looking at it makes you feel weird.
Andrew's got such a beautiful face. He's so smiley and cuddly, and then you've put him with that content.
I didn't do it. I can't take credit for that face morph, whatever that was. There was something else that I remember wanting to talk about before we signed off. I mean, obviously, Harry Maguire, good job showing out for England yesterday. Southgate, masterclass. No, these are all just Ainge quotes. There was something, it was that Tom Holland was saying about Spurs where he was enjoying. Oh, wait, he said something like that. And then also it was Ainge and Messi. This is it. Because I did a whole video where I said the GOAT said that Romero's the best defender in the world. And apparently someone asked Ainge about it. He says, I don't argue with Messi. So, reaffirming everything I said in that video, that if the GOAT says he's the GOAT, then clearly that's two GOATs goating with each other, being goated together in one big GOAT orgy. So, I love it. I support it. And I agree with Postecoglou. I don't argue with Messi. He said this is the best defender in the world. Well, who's going to tell Messi he's wrong?
I would.
No, you wouldn't.
I so would. I'd say, you are wrong. He is not the best defender in the world. Just because he's Argentinian like you don't make him.
I didn't say it. The GOAT said it. You just saying you know more about football than a footballing god. But I mean, that's neither here nor there, Kate. I'm not going to mud you. I'll let Messi mud you with his next goal that he scores. Because whenever he's coming to the MLS, Kate, and he's just flipped it on. People just stand there and watch him play. They don't even try and defend him. They're just like, oh, wow, it's Lionel Messi. And he's just like running through everybody, having a good time. But he's the GOAT. And I would never say that I know more than Messi personally. But, Kate, you can say that.
I don't know more than Messi, but on this particular occasion, he's talking crap. That's all I'm saying.
And on that show, I did put an option, Kate, in the poll. I did put an option like, it would be a fucking Argentinian bigging up another.
And that's the option I picked.
When I told my wife, I was like, "Hey, look, Messi said this guy's the GOAT," and she was like, "Does he play for Argentina?" And I was like, "Yeah." She goes, "Well, there you go." And she doesn't even watch the fucking sport. So obviously, I was just being shameless because, like Kuva said, I wanted to get one up on everybody and say, "Haha, do you know more than Messi?" Which is a shameless take because, again, I did preface that in the show that Messi did have a list of like 15 years ago of the top under 20 footballers to keep an eye on, and like only one of them actually made it into a top 5 league or some shit. So he doesn't always get it right, but I like it when Ainge says I don't argue with Messi because I don't either, Mr. Papa Postacoglu. But that's going to do it here for the episode number 50.
That's the thing I love most about this whole vibe with Postecoglou now is it feels like we're starting as a fan base to emerge from behind the curtain where we're scared of everything happening into you know what, I'm going to strut down this street in the sunshine, and anybody that wants to say anything bad about my team, bring it and we'll give you some.
Yeah Kuva, that's the vibe. Kate, do you have any final thoughts for us before we wrap up the show? And please do talk long enough for me to find the link for your channel here.
Oh, thanks. Final thoughts. I hope Richie gets himself sorted. That's my final thought on that. And I hope that he stays away from the first team. I don't think Ange will put him anywhere near the first team while he's having these issues anyway. I think he needs a bit of protection from any of the bad rap that he's going to get if he doesn't start banging in goals. So for me, no one wants to see another Dele Alli go on, so I hope that he gets himself sorted. But always a pleasure. I feel like all I've done for this hour and a bit is just laugh at you, Jacob, because you kill me. I can't cope with how funny you are.
I'd try to say I bring something special to the channel, my own channel specifically, and if I get offered to be on another channel, I'll be shameless. What do you want to see? You want to see a shameless Southern man talk his shit? I can be that guy. Or I can have really shitty dad jokes like you saw earlier with that youth player named Gunter. And I said, Gunter? Yeah. I barely even know her.
And I want to say one more thing. Sorry.
Yeah, of course.
I just want to say thank you for all your messages on Saturday night when I had all the trauma going on with Jim. It was massively appreciated by both of us.
Well, you and Jim know how near and dear you are to my heart. It just sucks, that feeling. I think everyone knows that feeling when you're like thousands of miles away and something happens and you wish you could go help the situation and you physically cannot. So sending messages is the least I can do. Being there for you, Jim, in any capacity, absolutely. That's absolutely awful what y'all went through, and that sucks.
I feel terrible now because I took the other approach, thinking they probably don't want to get hammered with loads.
That's what I thought too. Yeah.
Well, it was you was wrong, Kuva, and I'll never forgive you.
Fair enough.
She'll always remember Kuva wasn't there.
Right,
Joshua,
you're getting some stuff sent your way now. Don't you worry about that.
Lovely.
Joshua, we will do predictions for Saturday's game. I bring content about 5-6 days a week to the channel. So closer to that day, I will do so either Friday or tomorrow. Tomorrow or Friday, we'll probably be looking at predictions and stuff. Today was mostly about Richarlison's mental health and him seeking therapy, and I'm a major advocate for that. So let's not shame the lad. Let's all get behind the lad and say, yes, you shouldn't. Let's manage his expectations, because I think he's thinking, I come back to England, I talk to a lady about my mental, and I get to start again, right? And no. you talk to a lady, you get your mentals right, and then you work your way back into it because you've lost your starting position as far as I can see it. Now, if Ainge feels differently, obviously we'll find out this weekend, but we will do. So, Joshua, I hope to see you either tomorrow or Friday for that prediction. And there's the link right there for Just a Girl Who Loves Spurs. Go sub to Kate. What's your next milestone at? Hopefully we can help you get closer. I see you're at 520. So hopefully there's still about 70 people watching. So if 60 of y'all went over, help her get to 600. That'd be fantastic. Big up Archibald. And there's the link for Kate.
Thank you.
Of course.
Yeah, come on over. It's always fun.
Yeah, and you've got a lot of content coming out lately now, so
and I've got loads of. Oh my god, I've got such exciting things coming up, massive things, but I can't say anything yet because it's a secret. But it's so exciting, but I can't say anything.
Is Harry Kane coming on your show or something?
Shh! I told you not to tell anyone. Jesus, Jacob.
Sorry.
But no, there is big things coming.
Ooh, okay. Well, maybe let me know off air. I kind of want to know. I mean,
okay,
I don't like surprises. I like to ruin surprises. I'd rather know than be surprised. But
don't give in. Keep it secret.
I'm not telling you, Cooper, because you didn't message me Saturday night. But I might tell Jacob.
That's only because I didn't care.
Kuva, you got any final thoughts? And please do talk long enough. Well, actually, I'm almost there. But you got any final thoughts about the Richarlison and the squad selection necessarily?
Richarlison, I think, is the bigger news of the two. Squad selection wasn't a surprise, really, was it? And I think at the end of the day, whether he has a long-term career with us or elsewhere, it's all about salvaging the person at the moment. Wish him best to get his career back on track, get a bit of form going, enjoy his football. You only live once. He came from a very modest background. He was poor, very poor family. Typical story of the kid playing on the streets in Brazil. Spent his first professional wage packet on buying a tracksuit, getting a tracksuit given to him, and he went and gave it to his friends because he didn't feel he'd earned it. It was too much. I think he's a really humble bloke, and I just want to see him do well, even if it's not with us. Because end of the day, we are still Spurs. We still need the best players playing for us. I have question marks over him. A lot of people do, but just human level. No, come on, pull through. Give us something.
Pull through, yeah.
5 or 6 good goals. So be it.
Yeah, and I even acknowledged that the other night, before last night's game. I said, I saw him really struggling on the pitch, and then he was crying on the sidelines. And it was just like, on a human level, I feel for him. I feel bad for him, but like, you'll be all right. You'll be all right, kid. You just got to pull through, like you said. So there's the link for 3 Spurs Boys with Bobby K and the kids, and Kuv and the Kang will be back this weekend. So you got that to look forward to. But that's going to do it for us here on episode number 50. One last time, I want to show you this.
Oh, no.
So I can haunt your dreams before you go to sleep. But again, sorry for the change of time. To those of you who are watching this on playback wondering why the hell I did that, I do apologize.
I've just realised why I'm extra scared of the photo now. Does anybody else see a little bit of Phil Neville in that?
No, because that looks like Postacoglu's nose. It looks like Antonio's mouth, but with Ainge's beard. Yes.
It's just creepy. That's it. Phil Neville is a bit creepy.
It's definitely a tough one to. Kay, you were blocking out. Yeah, it's kind of weird.
I'm trying to block out the hair to work out who he looks like, but it's giving me major creeps. I don't like it.
Oh, that's hilarious. Real quick, let me see. I think I saw that Mia with Spurs Between the Lines was live, so let me go ahead and see if I can redirect on over her way before I end the show and say goodbye. Yes, she is. So, Kate, can you text her and just tell her don't stop being live? I'm about to send some people your way. So I'm going to send you over to Mia with Spurs Between the Lines, another great fellow Spurs YouTuber, fanatic. Conte pre-nose job, says DB. And Jamie Gitt says, yeah, see some Phil Neville. Adios, amigos. Orale way, Jazz Fusion. Have a good day. Looks like a Bond villain, says Kaylee Davis. Big up, Kaylee Davis.
Yeah.
Boo, I finally just got finished mowing and now you're ending the stream. Big up anyway. Yeah, I do have to end the stream. My wife's got to go and I got to give her time to get ready to go. Neville always reminded me of the Green Goblin. Ooh, I could a little bit of. I love Willem Dafoe, and you know I was about 25 before I realized it was not William Dafoe. So there you go.
That's all drawn face and the cheekbones, isn't it?
Yeah, very drawn face. Antonio Glue, says Callum Roche. Big up Callum Roche. Neville, only the cock at the side. I don't get that one, but big up Alan 10-inch Sibley. Hope you're keeping well, my friend. Good to see you. Take care. Non-alcoholic beer talk. I wanted to show the photo of freaking Romero and his mother, and it's still loading right now. So I wanted to show that before we say goodbye. There you go. Isn't that just cootie? But there you go. So that's going to end the show. Just a little bit of production value to add before I say goodbye. But as always, that was episode number 50. Thank you for tuning in. Stay fresh, stay blessed, up the lads, and come on, you Spurs. Of course.
United Spurs of America, with your hosts, Michael and Jacob.